there, folks. Welcome you all to yet another podcast of mine. Another Friday has caught up with us, people. Yes, it has. Flagons up to you all. Good grief, eh? First one of the evening. I'm going to have a double dip. Blimey. Well, we do have a few things to talk about, actually. I've kind of picked a few pieces of things I wanted to talk about that aren't necessarily gaming news as such. There are a couple of gaming news bits in there, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what I've done for launch day one for both consoles. In fact, let's run through my little list here. So I'll have a little bit of a chat about what I've been doing this week, and then we're going to talk about my pre-order list, people, my Uber pre-order list. And we're then going to talk about the console launch lineups that have now been sort of finalised. I don't think much will change now. And a weird thing that happened with PlayStation. I mean, most of that, it's going to take me quite a while to get through all of that, because I want to kind of dib into some of the things that I've purchased and, you know, what's going on with the console launch lineups and stuff like that. So, yeah, so there's not a huge amount on the list so far as topics go, but I want to delve a little bit deeper into bits of them. And I thought it'd be interesting to get stuck into what I've ordered, why I'm disappointed that I couldn't get extra bits I might have wanted, stuff like that. So yeah. So this week it's been a good week again, but you'll have noticed on the channel that I have been cracking right back into the Let's Plays. And that all began, well, I mentioned it on the podcast last week, that all began with Wasteland 3 on the Xbox One X. And I was really getting into that game, still am into it, but I noticed that it wasn't getting the biggest hit of views, so I decided to run it in combo and jump back and do some more of Kingdoms of Amalur, re-reckoning, because I felt like that was something that was really popular that people wanted to see more of, because the hit rate for my channel was quite high on the 3 that I did. And B, because I wanted to play some more. The only reason I stopped playing it was because there was screen tearing hitting places of the game, and I wanted to wait and play it on the Series X to see if the power of that got rid of the screen tearing, which it should do. So, and in the end, I did this week, I just had a buzz to kind of bounce between the two games. So what we have recorded for this week is, so you've had something pretty much every day, haven't you, I think? So today you got a Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. Tomorrow you're getting a Kingdoms of Amalur a Wasteland first. You're getting Wasteland 3 in the morning at 9 o'clock. And then you're getting a Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, I think. And then on Sunday morning you're getting another Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning at 9 o'clock in the morning. So they don't say I never give you anything, people. You know what I mean? I've had so many people, telling me to please keep doing the Let's Plays, because they clearly joined and subscribed to my channel because they liked me doing the Let's Plays, and maybe not so much on the podcast, and that's fine. You know, that's fine. And I know that the predominant audience that I have has come from the Let's Plays, and not everyone's going to enjoy or watch the podcast. That's absolutely fine. But yes, now that I'm doing the Let's Plays again, please tell me what you like or don't like. Please tell me if I'm not playing the games you want me to play. To some degree, I mean, I do want to experience games that might not be the most popular, and also on my little channel, you know, I mean, you have to bear in mind, like, sometimes I kind of scratch my head. You know, we've got 6,100 and blah subscribers on my channel, and no matter what I do, it never reaches any kind of epic scale of thousands of views. So so I kind of question myself all of the time as to why I've got 6,100 people following me, which is a beautiful number. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love seeing that stat, and I love the fact you guys do follow me. But it just seems weird that I've got so many subscribers, and yet when I do stuff, people tend not to watch it. So I'm not quite sure. Well, people watch it. I've got all the regulars, you know, and when I do something new, they clearly watch it. You know, I don't know whether I've just become a channel where if I happen to get something up early, the people that follow me like to watch it. But if it's something they've seen everywhere else, then they don't necessarily watch the channel for me. So I don't know. I don't know what the balance is I need to strike. I don't know whether I've done so many bits of everything that people followed me hoping for more of something else. I mean, I just cannot play everything though, you know, like, and then I didn't do a lot of Let's Plays for quite a while. So I don't know. It's a bit of a head scratcher, really. So what I do at the moment is, you know, well, up until recently, I've just been doing the podcast just for my own sanity. But now that I've got the new capture device that lets me both capture and also play in 4K, so that I get the full benefit of the game, that buzz for recording the games came back. So hopefully now that I'm getting back into the Let's Plays, people will start jumping into them again. I understand I've not done them for a while as well, so a lot of the people that do follow maybe don't have the alert button on or whatever, the bell. So, you know, it might start dawning on people that I'm doing the Let's Plays again, that sort of thing. So it's a really interesting one. I find it, you know, I mean, actually, I got a little bit of pennies again for the first time, you know, because like I don't make a huge amount of money. I don't make money at all. I spend more money running the channel than I do ever that I get back. Certainly at the moment, anyway. But every 3 months, I might get like 50, somewhere between 50 and 70 pound. It's usually between 50 and 60, but this month I seem to get 70 pound. It just popped into my account this morning. I was like, oh no, I didn't expect it. So that will go towards the £200 capture card that I've just bought. And, you know, so any little pennies that I do make have already been spent on the stuff that I'm buying. You know, you can take into account, if I wasn't running this YouTube channel, I would not be buying both consoles on day one. Like, you know, like I do it because I want to share that experience with all of you guys. I would pick one and I would get the other one later at some point when it's maybe a bit cheaper or what have you, especially in a time when the consoles, well, I suppose PlayStation, I probably would have, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've already made that video. I think I probably, if I'd had to pick one at that particular moment in time, I probably would have gone with the Series X, but only because of a whole bunch of back and pat type reasons and Games Pass, and you know, it would have stung a little bit not to play Demon's Souls, but you know. But anyway, I'm not in that position. I mean, not that I can't afford it. It's just that, you know, you'd be more. I'd be more sensible about it if I wasn't running the channel. And one of the topics today is, of course, the stupid amount of money I'm spending on day one of launches, people. So yeah. So anyway, it's been a good week, and I've really enjoyed getting back into the Let's Plays again. I hope people start seeing that I'm doing them again and start picking up on it. You can let me know in the comments below if you know. If you joined the channel for a particular reason to see me doing something and I'm not doing it, then that's fine, and I will take it into consideration. But obviously, I can't take, you know, if 25 people give me different games they want to see me Let's Play, I clearly can't do all of them at once. So, you know, I do try to do something new, and, you know, there's games that I've played in the past that my commentary wasn't so great back in the day that I might want to do again. I know my Witcher playthrough, which was very, 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 very low viewing figures because it was way back in the beginnings of when I did that sort of stuff, and my commentary's not great on it. I did buy the Xbox One version of it so I could play it on the X and never got around to it, so we could play that on the Series X, because that's going to get a patch for the Series X as well for free, so that's something we can have a look at. There's so many games I might revisit on the Let's Plays, so you know, let me know in the comments below, especially with the Xbox Series X, because you know that whole library might get tapped into, things like Fallout 4 and all that malarkey. So let me know in the comments below if there's something you might want to see me do on the Series X, or indeed the PlayStation 5 as well. I nearly said 4 Pro there. The PlayStation 5. You know, in a backward compact type of way. I will be doing obviously Demon's Souls, you know, because we've already talked about the fact I've got that, and we'll talk about it again. So it's been a good week. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've really had a good buzz about, you know, just getting stuck into Let's Playing again. My commentary's just coming naturally. I'm just talking away like I do, thinking out loud more than anything else. I think there's an Ed Sheeran song in there somewhere. And it's just been a really nice week. Work, you know, day job during the day and getting the gym in. Got a couple of gym sessions in again. Got 2 runs in, and then it's been all about just sitting down and playing either Wasteland 3 or Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. I have to say, I absolutely adore Wasteland 3. And I think there's a lot of people that will play like AAA titles. I'm not thinking of anyone particular here, Sean Kehoe. they kind of look at games like that and go, this looks a bit shit. It's not very nice. But there's many types of gamer in the world. Like I learned a long time ago that there's many types of different game. You can't judge a game purely on the way that it looks. You have to get stuck into a game before you actually get what it's all about. And not every person suits every game. Like if you're not into tactical battle games, then you're never going to enjoy it. And if you're expecting every game to look like a AAA title, it's never going to happen. Like that's just not possible. But you can compare this game, Wasteland 3, with the likes of XCOM or Gears Tactics. I mean, I haven't seen Gears Tactics properly in action yet. So I did say to Sean, I'd be interested to see what he thought of Gears Tactics, because I know he's a massive Gears fan, but it may just be that kind of game isn't for him. But I love the thing with Wasteland 3, right? You better remember that Wasteland 3, the people that make Wasteland 3 are the people that made Fallout originally. And they broke away when Fallout became this sort of first-person thing that they didn't really want it to become, and then they started doing Wasteland. And Wasteland 2 I loved, and I found it a little bit of a struggle because I wasn't used to that type of game. This has been dumbed down a bit so far as they're kind of telling you, well, not telling you, but it's kind of more intuitive when you walk up to something to say, what is it I need to do to make this happen? You don't have to go around the wheel saying, is it a bash the wall? Is it a pick the lock? It just knows what skills your party have got, and it'll just do it if you've got it. If you haven't got it, a big bar comes up in red saying you need this skill level. So all of that stuff's been dumbed down, which makes for the playing of it a little bit more enjoyable, and it flows more. With Wasteland 2, if anyone ever goes back and looks at those playthroughs, the amount of times I'm wandering around with no idea what I'm doing, because you have to jump through every character to see if they've got the right skill to open something and stuff. So it became really, painful at times. Not bad, but just, painful. So, I mean, I'm not someone that can remember what every character's got to every depth and every level of a party of 6 or whatever, So to have the system just know what each party member's got, and it'll either do it or it won't based on whether it's there, is great. And I do love the fact that this one you can make your own characters to put into your team. You've always got to leave space for a couple of sort of preset characters, NPCs, if you will, who will always be dipping in and out of your party. And old Lucia Wesson, she's priceless. I'm keeping her in my team. Bloody brilliant. But yeah, anyway, I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to getting back playing it. So if you were worried that I've suddenly dropped Wasteland 3 and started doing Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, don't worry, I am doing a bit of both. So I shall do a lump of recording on Wasteland 3, get all that posted up for a number of days, then I'll do a lump of recording on Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. So Sunday, now that I've got all of that running, Sunday will be a Wasteland 3 recording day, and then Monday probably back to Kingdoms of Amalur. I can usually, in a session, on a night session, I can usually get 2 to 3 recordings in of an hour. And on a Sunday, depending on what foot he's on, what I'm interested in, blah, 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 I can get a lot more than that, because obviously I can start a bit earlier once I've got a gym and all that out of the way. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing a lot more for you guys. So I hope you're enjoying the fact that I'm putting it back up. A lot of the videos I put up, I always think aren't going to get many views because they're quite slow burners. But then later, I look back and go, Jesus, there's been loads of folk looking at it. So, people can't just start looking at videos when they first go up, and I'm sure I'm at the very bottom of a pecking order of people to watch on YouTube. Anyway, maybe I'm doing myself down, people. Right, should we get into a bit of the other topics? So, that was this week. So my pre-order list, right? So I'm not going to hide it, people. I'm going to be really honest with you. I have spent, and this isn't including the £80 worth of Games Pass, the £200 new recording device so that I can capture in 4K once the software's sorted out, but at least watch it in 4K while I'm recording for you guys in 1080p 60 frames per second, and hopefully recording 4K bit on and off a bit later on. It's not including those costs. So I have on day one arriving about £1,200, about £1,200. So I'll let you guys convert that into dollars for you fine American people watching me. And you can sit there and go, holy shit, Steve, you know what I mean? I suppose. But bear in mind, I've saved up for this, right? This happens once every 7 years, people, or 10 years, but 7 years it was this time around. And I know it's coming, so I save up for it. It's the same with the mid-gen ones that I got. I know that they're coming, so I start putting pennies away. And I don't necessarily put pennies away for that purpose particularly, but I put pennies away in general just all of the time, so that when I do want to do something or whatever, then I decide what I'm going to spend my pennies on, or some of the pennies. And my recent years have been not going on holiday, not really spending stuff willy-nilly on all sorts of stuff. I just tuck it away, and on a sunny day rather than a rainy day, I'll spend it on, I'll spend some of it on stuff like this. So I'm more than happy to be spending this sort of money on the launch of a whole new generation of consoles without any doubt, and I didn't anticipate spending any less, to be honest with you. I mean, the more we heard about the hardware, the more I knew it was going to be, somewhere between £400 and £500 for a console. And then some not so cheap accessories to go with it. So here's what we've got. So first off, on the 10th of November, I'm going to be getting the Xbox Series X. So there's £450. And it was disappointing with the Series X so far as the only accessory that is really a Microsoft accessory that I know of that I need, would want, is the additional storage card, which I don't need on day one, so I'm not going to fork out for it right now. I can't get hold of one anyway at the minute. So I'm not going to fork out for one right at the minute. And I'll get it later on. Maybe the price will come down a little bit. But there's no, I can't seem to find any Microsoft-made headsets, for example, or, Microsoft-made charge unit, or Microsoft-made, all of their stuff seems to be in collaboration with another manufacturer like, I don't know, Turtle Beach or Razer or, those sort of people for headsets and stuff. And they just don't seem to be making their own little knickknacks for it anymore. And it's a little bit disappointing. And it kind of brings me back to my disappointment at the fact that they don't make proper headsets anymore for people that don't want, any of them. They don't make a headset that's not in the way anymore. Like those little headsets that used to just hook onto your ear, like a little mic on the end of it, and it didn't have a wire, it just worked via Bluetooth straight to the 360. It was the best headset for chat I've ever had, and yet they didn't make them at all. I mean, I kept tweeting bloody Phil Spencer and and AC Bongos and all those sort of people to say, please make these again. But there seems to be something weird about what they've done with that sort of stuff, because when they seem to make the shift to Bluetooth, I think, because it was a different way of connecting back then, everything seems to use dongles. It doesn't just connect to the device. It's the same with PlayStation. The PlayStation headsets and what have you, they all have a little dongle with them you've got to use a USB socket for. And I'm like, well, why? Because I get that. The only reason I can think of is that they're making, Sony, for example, are making their own headset, and the headset, Microsoft do have a headset for this gen, like a proper, headset. I'm sure I've seen it. So whether it's not being punted because that headset's just continuing, and that we can buy those, maybe, but I couldn't see them on the website when I had a look. But they have their own dongle, and I think the reason they have their own dongle is because they want the headsets to be able to work in PCs and stuff as well. So I kind of get it. I kind of understand why they're doing it, but it's a frustration for me as a console gamer. If I just want to sit, let's say I'm having a Sunday's game session, I want to just chat with, not playing the same game as Craigie Boy, but we're chatting while we're playing different games like we used to do, or we do sometimes still, then I can't just put a nice non-invasive little earbud headphone on and just chat to him. I have to put at the moment, all I've got is the chat headset from Microsoft, which is the big wraparound head thing with the mic stick on it, and then a cable that's got to plug into my handset. And it's really invasive. I don't want that sort of invasion in my gaming when all I want to do is chat to somebody. Now, you can argue that PlayStation have got around it a little bit because they've actually put a microphone on their new controller. The DualSense controller has one. So you can activate a chat and just start talking to someone. How good it is, we don't know yet. But you don't even need a headset to be able to chat to somebody there. that it will just pick it up. Hopefully you won't have to like, so hello, I can hear you, hello. And then I think they just, you can have it set so they just come through your TV. But again, it's not ideal, is it? You prefer to have something you can just have on your ear that doesn't have cables going everywhere and it's just wireless. And we just don't seem to have it. We just never seem to get that. I mean, I don't know. There's a few things that never seem to come back from that generation of console that I liked. But that little earbud was a gem. It's a gem. In fact, I've still got them. They're in my box of Xbox 360 stuff upstairs. And I just adored them, and they've never come back. And I've yet to see a chat headset that was as good as that. It was. I mean, it was a really good little product as well. I don't think they were cheap at the time. And they were really comfortable. They were really nice design. They didn't go in your ear. They literally just lay on it because it was like a little hook thing that just you just wrapped it onto your ear. And it just sat there. It had a nice little cushion on it. And it was only a tiny little stick on it. And it was dead clear. People could hear. It was great. It was a brilliant little product, that. So, I digress. But just in general, I'm a little bit disappointed there's not more knickknacks to go with the Xbox Series X, because I would have been happy to invest in them. Because I'm going to try and move away from the generic Big Turtle Beach headset I've got and try and tap into the little extras that the other companies are doing. Like, we'll move on to the PlayStation 5 in a minute, because I've bought a couple of their bits and bobs. So, yeah. But anyway, £450 coming for the Xbox Series X, 10th of November. I'm so excited, people. So excited. Even though there's no first party exclusive coming on day one, I have got a game for it. We'll be talking about it in a minute. You might have guessed what it is by the pictures at the back of me. And moving swiftly on, we've got the PlayStation 5 coming on the 19th of September in this September. I wish I'd have it already. The 19th of November. Did I say September for the last one as well? I'm talking about November, people. I think I've drifted off to my special place, people. Anyway, yes, 10th of November for the Series X and the 19th of November for the PlayStation 5. You lucky folks in America are getting your PlayStation 5 on the 10th, the same day that I'm getting my Xbox Series X. That said, I'm happy that I'm not getting them both on the same day, because that would have been far too much. I mean, I want a week with the X, and then I'll get a week with the PS5, and then I can start bouncing between the two. So, yeah, so we've got the PlayStation 5, another £450. And then we've got an extra DualSense controller, which is another £60, I think. Someone's sitting with a calculator somewhere adding all this up, but I assure you it does come to about £1,200. We've then got I just like knowing I've got a spare controller. And I didn't get another controller for the Series X because I'm going to keep one of my Xbox One controllers because they're compatible with it. And it's not even been used. I've got an Xbox One controller that's not been used yet, so it's brand new. So I'm going to keep that one. And when I sell my unit, I'll just sell the one I've been using with the unit. So that's the only reason I didn't get a second. So I've still got two controllers for the Xbox. So I'm getting an extra DualSense. I like knowing I've got a spare, and I like knowing that if Aaron Brew or somebody comes around and I don't know, end up on something co-op like football or something, there's another controller there. It's just handy. And it's not the first time a controller's broke on me either. Not that I had a massive breakage, but with the PlayStation 4, one of my left sticks went really weird. Like, it wasn't always recognizing when I was pushing it. So it got frustrating. I ended up swapping to my backup, and it's been my controller ever since. So it just means you're not stuck. So we've got another one of them coming at £60. The 3D headset, because they have made a headset, and I really want to experience this 3D sound. If it had been just another pair of headsets from, because I haven't ever bought the headsets from PlayStation, so far as the proper ones over the head go and everything. So only because they're now really pushing how good this 3D is, 3D sound, I really want to experience it, and I think it'll be fantastic. If they've got, I'm pretty sure they must have built that into Demon's Souls as well. So I'm really looking forward to trying that out. I really hope it's amazing. I tell you, if that sound is as good as they say it is, it could, and developers tap into it well, it may well be that I end up, playing certain titles over on the PlayStation, third-party titles on the PS5, simply to get that experience. Like horror games, for example, like a Resi game might be better on there, just for that, crazy surround sound, like Resi 8. I mean, that is built for new gen specifically. They're going to try and make a cheap version, they said, once they've got the next gen version done. But it's been designed for next gen, that game. And if that's got 3D sound on PS5, but just bog standard stereo on the other one, I think if it's all it lives up to be, I'll be looking out for that. So I'm really excited about trying that headset out. So that was another £80. And then we've got the... Well, yeah, that was about it, really, I think. Oh, no, well, we've got the games. We'll come to the games in a minute. But the games in themselves were £70 and £50. So there's the rest of the money. So, yeah, here's another weird thing as well that came along with that. I ordered all my stuff. It's been there. I've got all my notifications saying I'm getting my stuff on that date and everything's on time and blah, blah, blah. It's all great. And then I get messages, and you'll have heard this from other people on YouTube, I'm sure, and everywhere on Tinterwebs, that I got emails from Amazon saying your delivery date has changed on this item. And I was like, what? And it was all the PS5 stuff. And basically what they're doing is shipping all the accessories early. So hang on a minute, did I mention the charge unit? The dual, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I mentioned the dual charger kit. So I got a dual charger kit in there as well, which was another £30 or something like that. So there you go. So that person with the calculator, they're saying I'm not adding up. There's another 30 quid there. I lost my train of thought there, people. Yeah, so the accessories are arriving early. So that's the extra DualSense controller, the charge unit, the headset. I've all got release dates that are now, for me, on the 10th of November, which is when the Xbox Series X arrives. And in America, I think it's like on the 30 blah of October, even earlier. So they seem to be shipping a week early the accessories to take a bit of the strain off of actually shipping the consoles. So I should be able to. I mean, people will have done it, because the Americans will be getting it in October. So, but I'll be doing a video if those accessories comes through. I will do a video on my impressions of those accessories. At least on how they feel quality-wise and everything, especially the controller and the headset. And we'll just see what the charger... I expect the charger to be as good quality as the charger for the PS4 dual that I've got, dual charger. So that was interesting. Yeah, I'm quite excited about that, even though obviously I can't use them for anything really. I could use the headset, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not really... It's just going to be a headset at that point. Until I actually get something 3D sound to test out, and I won't be able to say if it's, as wow or not as they say it is. So... And then the miscellaneous stuff after that, which wasn't costed into that £1,200, were the Elgato HD60S Plus, which is doing the 4K and the video capture and all that malarkey. That was £189, I think, 190. And then Games Pass for 2 years, that was 80 quid because I managed to do it via if you missed this video last week, go and buy yourself 12, well, you can do it for up to 36 months. So buy yourself as many months of gold as you want. And then once you're happy that that's as many years as you want, then for me, I bought 2 12-month gold memberships. So it's 24 months. Punch those codes into the Xbox. And then once you've got those codes in, it says you've got 24 months worth of gold. And you can do another one if you want, up to 36 months. You can then upgrade to, say, buy Games Pass Ultimate for £1 at the minute, I think it is. And then it'll upgrade all of those months to Ultimate. So you get Ultimate for, like, in my case, I got Ultimate for £80 as opposed to it would have cost me about £260 paying it monthly. So well worth doing if you haven't. I won't go into that anymore because I talked about it at length last week. So yeah, so my 2 years of Game Pass, which was another 80 quid. But well worth the investment. In fact, now that I've done it, I kind of wish I'd done it for the 36 months. But never ye mind. Never you mind. We're getting to that level of darkness outside, people, where we're going to see if this TV is going to start affecting me. I did try and stick to dark images again. And I have got the lamp shining on me. Anyway. So, moving swiftly on. The games that I have purchased, people, for day one. Now, anyone watching the previous podcast would have said, will know that I was only buying Demon's Souls for day one. A, because it's £70 bloody pound for one game. This is where the rest of the money is in these two games, £70 and £50. For some reason, right, first party titles look like they're going to be 70 quid, and that's just the way it is. Certainly for PlayStation 5. When it comes to Xbox Series X, I don't give a shit about the first party prices because I'd have to pay them because I've got Games Pass for 2 years. So anything that comes out in those 2 years, and even after those 2 years, I'll just get $10.99 a month Game Pass Ultimate, and I'll get all their first party titles for always that I'm on Game Pass for absolutely nothing. So it's not a problem over there, but it is a problem so far as third-party title goes because obviously they don't all hit Games Pass on day one. Some of them will hit Games Pass at some point. But for any games that I want to buy outright, first-party ones are going to be about £70 by the looks of it. That's what Demon's Souls is, and it's the only proper next-gen true title, really. All the others are kind of on both last gen and this gen. So anyway, anyone watching the previous podcast know that I was just going to do that because it was £70. However, I also said that I wasn't getting any sort of itch to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I'd gone off Assassin's Creed. But the more I've looked at Valhalla, the more it's really getting my interest up. It's far more RPG than the other ones have been. I think because it's set in Britain. And I like the whole vibe of it. Every trailer I've seen, the gameplay stuff, the story stuff, it looks incredible for a start. It looks spectacular. And I'm really, really excited to see what the Series X can do with it. So anyway, long story short, yesterday I pre-ordered Valhalla for the Series X. So I've now got a game for each console. So when the Series X arrives, I realise that Assassin's Creed is probably not something people are going to want me to do on the channel, but I will do some recordings of it and I'll post some up. To be fair, there will be, the proper YouTubers, the influencers people, they'll be getting early versions of God knows everything. So I won't ever be the first person to throw something up unless it's something really out there that they didn't bother with, which has been my history of getting decent views. But I will throw up some Valhalla and see how you guys take to it. And if it goes well, I'll keep doing it while I'm playing it. But I'm really excited about playing it. It looks absolutely spectacular. There's so many. Like they've talked about, you can actually build up the village. When you invade and take over villages, you can build them up and do your settlements. There's all that sort of RPG stuff to it. And the last time I remember doing stuff like that properly you could do it in the third one, but the second one was the one where I enjoyed it the most. Where you had that little kind of town that you took over, didn't you? It was like a palace with a little town in Assassin's Creed 2, and I loved getting all my money together and doing up the whorehouse and. You know what I mean? And doing up the restaurant, I don't know, the shops and the restaurant. You did up loads of little bits of it, but it ran out so quickly that I was just disappointed there wasn't more of it to do. So that side of it's piqued me interest. The story of it has piqued me interest. The fact they're going into a bit of the Nordic sort of god stuff as well has piqued my interest. And just the fact it's set in Britain as well, I really fancy the hell out of that game now. It's amazing how my mind's changed in the space of a couple of weeks, and now I'm excited that I've got a title that the Series X will show off some of the new features on as well. So we'll see just how good it looks on it. So very excited about that. 2 games to come, and so yeah, we've got the console launch lineups, which I should have got my glasses for this reason. Hold you on, people. Hold you on. It's time for the old man glasses. I never thought I'd see the day, people, where I needed to put these on my eyes to see stuffs. It's only for reading, though. I have to wear them normally. So, here we go. We've got third party. This is all props to IGN. This is IGN's list I'm reading, so you can always go over and check it out yourselves. Third party games releasing on both consoles. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Borderlands 3. You got to bear in mind some of these titles are being punted as on there, but I think what they mean is on there with, I realise that Borderlands 3 is already out there, but it's with additional, features for the new gen. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I do fancy the hell out of that, And every time, that would have been, I wouldn't have played it on the channel, but I do fancy the hell. It's the first call, but only for the campaign. I don't do multiplayer, but I really fancy the story out of that for the 80s vibe of it all. Cyberpunk 2077. I still don't have any buzz for that whatsoever. I understand why it's going to be as popular as it is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to down that game. It'll be great, but I just don't have a buzz for it at all. Destiny 2 Beyond Light. Interestingly, they've put Destiny 2 Beyond Light there, but it is there, but it won't get its next-gen mods until December, I believe, or November. No, December, yeah. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Dirt 5, For Honor, Fortnite, Just Dance 21, my favourite. Hey, you got me dance, Matt. Maneater, Mortal Kombat 1 Ultimate, which is November 17th. NBA 2K21, Observer System Redux, Planet Coaster, Warhammer Chaos Bane Slayer Edition, Watch Dogs Legion. So that's for both systems. First party games releasing at launch: PS5, Astro's Playroom, Demon's Souls, Destruction All Stars, Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Bit cheeky splitting the Spider-Mans up because they're on the same disc, people. You can't have them separate. You have to buy them as one thing. Xbox Series X, Forza Horizon 5. Well, again, these are first-party titles, but they're already there. It's just they're going to be enhanced. Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Gears Tactics, Grounded, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Third-party console exclusive games releasing at launch. Now, Xbox have done alright here for the, not titles necessarily that I would play, but they've done alright considering there's only 3 third-party console exclusives on PlayStation: Bugsnax, Godfall, and The Pathless. But the third-party console exclusives, which some will be timed exclusives, of course: Bright Memory 1.0, Cuisine Royale, Dead by Daylight, Enlisted, Evergate, King Oddball, Manifold Garden, Tetris Effect Connected, The Tourist, The Falconeer. That Falconeer looks nice, I have to say. It's pretty much made by one guy. It looks spectacular for one bloke that's done it. The Falconeer, I mean, he's had help, dibs of help in and out, but the general design of everything and the actual programming and stuff, he's done it all himself. War Thunder, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Still can't believe that's on here and not on PlayStation yet. Yes, Your Grace. And new first and third party console exclusive games. Didn't we just do that? Oh, they're just the new ones as opposed to all of them. So it's the same list for PlayStation: Astro's Playroom, Bugsnax, Demon's Souls, Destruction All Stars, Godfall, Marvel Spider-Man Morales, Sackboy: Big Adventure, The Pathless. Oh, right, of course, it's missing Spider-Man because that was already there. Yeah, okay. And then on Xbox Series X, it's The Falconeer and Yakuza Like a Dragon. So PlayStation 5, I had this conversation with Aaron Brew the other day, and he was convinced that Yakuza was going to be there at launch on the PS5, and I was like, I don't think it is, pal. And then we decided that it must be, but it won't be enhanced. But it's not on the list. It's down as an exclusive, timed exclusive for Xbox. The Falconeer and Yakuza Like a Dragon. So there you go. That's it. So there you are. That's your list. If you want to, if I've read through that quite quickly, you can go to IGN and or just do a Google search for launch day games or whatever. I can't remember what I typed in now. Yeah. What did I type in? I can't remember now. I think I did actually type in PS5, launch titles, I think it was. And it came up with comparison, and that's how I ended up with that. So, yeah, so there's plenty to get your teeth stuck into. There's something there for everybody. Is it as strong a lineup as we got for this generation of console? I don't think it is, no. And I've had that conversation with you all before. I'm still a massive believer. And I did a whole podcast on this. I did a podcast, whoop, bang the mic, Steve, with your glasses. I did a podcast on this, all about why I believed that last gen's launch titles were way better than this launch. But I'll give it this. The hardware jump is way above and beyond what we got last time. So I'm more than happy with the launch lineup. There's only so much you can play on day one anyway. And there's a ton of stuff coming in the next number of months after the launch, people. And I tell you, I'm still that Immortals Phoenix Rising. The more I see of that game, the more I'm super stoked for that from Ubisoft. I mean, you've got Ubisoft have got, within the space of months, they've got, Valhalla, they've got Watch Dogs Legion, they've got Phoenix Rising coming, Immortals Phoenix Rising, and I'm sure there's other stuff as well that I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but there's just like every month there's something. And then of course, I'm not raving about Cyberpunk 2077, but it is going to be huge, that game. That make no mistake, that's probably the biggest title that's coming out on day one. It's just not for me. So I've gone for my experience with Valhalla. Maybe down the road sometime. But do you know what it is? I don't think it's the game. I think it's just that's not the sort of world that I tend to find a lot of satisfaction in. I tend not to be a very futuristic-y world person. Maybe that's what's putting me off, So we'll see. I mean, I guess maybe at some point, well, definitely at some point when the price drops, and I'll think, hell, I'll give it a go, And plus, it's not something I would have played on the channel. I don't think you guys are certainly not a huge amount of you guys would want to see me play that for very long. And there's far too many other people who are playing it anyway. So with Valhalla feeling a lot more RPG-like, that's very much the way I think it's definitely the right choice for me for day one. So I'm really stoked that I've got Demon's Souls on PS5 and I've got Valhalla on the Xbox Series X, people. I'm super stoked. But it's only 2 weeks to go. And then I've got 2 weeks off to enjoy them both. I'm off for the launch of the Xbox Series X, and then I'm off the following week to enjoy the PlayStation 5. Absolutely fantastic, people. I can't tell you. And on a last note, just as a why would you? PlayStation decided that they were going to change how parties worked on PS4. We're 2 weeks away from the new consoles launching, people. And before you say it's 3 for a PlayStation, not in America, it's not. Why would you, with a few days to go, change the way that you do your parties and then annoy the hell out of everybody? Like, people were like, what? What have I got to do now? What's happening? It's broke. What have you done to it? I mean, why even bother? Like, what you want to do is move people away from PS4 and move them onto the new system. Is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to get them so pissed off on the PS4 that they've got to move over to PS5 just to be happy. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Why would you? I'm not even going to go into the specifics of it, people, but it made life really awkward for people trying to jump out of parties and join in. Or you've got to be mega friends or not friends, and people that weren't friends were having all sorts of nightmares. It was just mayhem, people. Anyway, they went off and they were supposed to be supposedly going off to try and think about it and maybe come up with. They didn't say they'd come up with a patch, but they were going away to think about it. But why would you? Why would you? Like, when you're 2 weeks away from the launch of your new console, start dicking about with something that no one's even asked you to change. You know what I mean? Leave it be. You know what I mean? God's sake. Somebody somewhere, some coder somewhere, has thought, my job list's a bit quiet. I know what I'll do. I'll redesign this and give myself something to do. Good grief, people. God bless you. There's people paid much more money than me that come up with all of these decisions to start dicking around with people that shouldn't be dicked around with at all. Why? Yeah. I mean, I need to get myself a job like that. A job where you do everything that people don't want you to do and you get paid a fortune for it because people think it's great. Leave it alone. Leave it. Step away. Anyway, there you are, people. That's all I have to talk about. I have no idea how long I've talked for. I realised it wasn't going to be the longest chat in the world because it was really more about what I'd purchased in my day one purchases, people. I'm so excited. But as I say, I'm not even sorry that I'm spending that much money because that's what I spend my money on. This is my hobby. It's my number one hobby. It's my big thing that I do. And I don't spend my money on anything else, really. So, fair play to me to just do what I want to do when it comes to times like this. And I'm delighted that I'm in a position to be able to do it. I'm also delighted that I happen to be in a job that has not affected me financially through this nightmare that we've all had to go through, just because of what I do, that I've not had to be furloughed or not had to be put out of work. So, I'm very gracious for that and thankful. But, I do what I do through all of my life so that at times like this, I can actually invest and enjoy and just embrace the entire experience of launch without having to worry about, should I buy that? Should I buy this? And just get all the bits I want to get. And then, just enjoy it. Enjoy the hell out of it, people. I hope some of you are managing to do the same thing. If you've only managed to get little bits of it, excellent. If you've not managed, if you're not in a place where you can actually buy this stuff yet, then don't worry about it. There's a gazillion other people in exactly the same boat. If you're one of these people that really wanted one and couldn't get one, don't worry about it. There's a gazillion other people that couldn't get it either. There will be more consoles on the way. And hey, look, if you can't afford it just now, they will be cheaper in a year's time. You know what I mean? And it's not like there's not a huge amount that you can't play where you are. So, don't feel left out in that regard. But there you are. I'm just super stoked that I did manage to get both pre-ordered and that they are coming. And I can share that experience with you guys. And I will share every part of it with you. I'll share what arrives. I'll share unpacking them. I'll share my first experiences with them and all that sort of stuff. And there you are. All right, that's it, people. I'm going to ramble on and on and on if I don't shut up. It has been an honour and a privilege serving for you once again in this podcast of mine. And I shall see you next time. Take it easy, folks. Bye.